No, picking Madam, sorry.
Go on, Barrister, go on.
Picking Madam Mundi, I still believe it was a good action. It called a lot of attention on the struggle internationally, and Madam Mundi has been a key figure in the CPDM party and in that government. So she is the right person to be picked. I have no problem with the choice of the candidate who was picked. So the picking was not the issue. The issue is after picking, what next? That is where the issue is. So we should forget about why Miss Mundi. She was the right person. Such people, Mundi, Nee, John, and the rest, those are right people. So that one is not an issue. The issue is what do you do
next? So what do you make of the propaganda? I call it propaganda because for Ngalam for out or exchange Regina Mundi for some prisoners, our own prisoners, before they can all be released. In fact, let me tell you guys, for the first time after coming out to laud the effort of the ADF in this thing, I had a number of exchanges with egg of C chairman Cho Ayaba, and we were quite complimentary to each other, and he was glad, and he assured me that, listen, you are putting a bet on the table. I promise you, you are going to see it. And I really thought they were going to redeem their image at this time by exchanging Regina Mundi with at least one prisoner from Yaoundé. It didn't happen. What do you make of that?
Secretary Chris, La Republique at this point in time, I don't see them coming in public and actually exchanging prisoners. The essence of naming Pangalamfo and the rest was good for the propaganda it brought. But in terms of reality, there was no iota of chance that La Republique would have done it, at least not in public. Yeah, so secondly,
let me weigh in on this because I know about the inner decision that was taken. Let me just weigh in a little bit on this, Mr.
All right,
Chris,
go on.
maybe if you want me to weigh on this.
Okay.
The decision actually was made prior to 20th of May this year, when she was already in ADF camp. This was what actually happened. They wanted her to be exchanged in place of Fongalafo and one other person, but La République du Cameroon vehemently denied. And so the ADF came up with another action to try this lady for treason, which they found guilty. And there was a deliberation as to whether to keep her for as long as possible while using her as a bargaining chip, or another option, which I cannot list here. And so my whole take, I was completely bitter about this. I want all terrorists to be kept in Ambazonia for as long as Isiku, Ayoktabe, and the rest are in their prisons. As simple as it is. If they die, they die.
You may be right. Maybe a little bit difficult to keep them for as long as the prisoners are free, because number one, it takes a lot of resources to get them.
I agree.
Right?
And so when I talk about keeping, I think you should read behind, you should read below.
I get you. You don't need to go, you don't need to go there. All right. Let me get to Sama Thomas. Sama Thomas, if you are there. Is Sama Thomas, are you there, please? Sama Thomas is sleeping on camera. I hope somebody will get to him and get him up. The guy is sleeping deep asleep on camera. Oh, he says, oh, sorry, my internet is not just the best. Okay, please log out and log back in. Log out and log back in. So, Ivo, let me ask you this. We all agreed picking that lady was the right thing to do. But the end result does not boost our efforts in any way, by any means. How can the ADF redeem itself in the face of this? You can. I mean, I'm sure you yourself are bitter, and everybody is bitter out there. How can they redeem their image out of this?
I think first of all, it's a poor handling of communications. When you have, I've always said this. Not everyone like you, Mr. Chris, is good at communications. When you put the wrong people in the right offices, you will have bad results. And this is exactly what is happening. I mean, not everyone is good at propaganda. When you go out there spewing lies to the public that you were being chased by the Cameroon forces, chased, and you were shot at. Where is the camp, by the way, Uncle Chris, Mr. Secretary Chris? So where is the camp? All of these are fake news propaganda without any careful thought process in place. Now, this is my whole take about the situation. You've asked a good question. How can the ADF redeem itself? I am not a member of the ADF in a council, but I will say this. Yeah, you and I have agreed for once on a common platform on which we could liberate Ambazonia by arresting this terrorist you're seeing on your screen, Regina Mundi. Secondly, how can the ADF get out of this situation? Is to pick another one and teach a lesson. Mr. Chris, I keep calling you Uncle Chris. Mr. Chris, this is exactly what happened in the BLM under your command when General Professor Ivo Leket Tambo was arrested. You also let him loose. And you let him loose probably because you received money from him. ADF is doing the same thing. The two wrongs cannot make the same right.
You make a very legitimate comparison there. However, we look at the times. Ivo Tambo was at the beginning, the very first. I think that was 2017 that happened. That was a very big. I mean, you will agree. Nobody at that moment believed this struggle was going to go beyond 2017, having gone through 16,
yes,
not even thinking of 18. So there was no good thought process at that moment. You agree with that. Fast forward to 5 years and counting, where our route, the roadmap is so clear, and many others have also been picked up. You would think
I don't think the roadmap is so clear. When you have
so clear in the sense that we need nothing but a free and independent Southern Cameroon. I believe if
yeah, I agree. That is a vision. That is a tunnel vision. But
what I'm trying to say is, I believe had Ladopoplique come up in 2017 and say, hey, let's sit down and talk about federation. I think many of us at that time, including you, who was leaving the consortium at some point, would have said, okay, let's sit down and hear what they propose. Correct. But that did not happen. Now, speed forward to 2022. We have picked up 6 delegates in India. Where have they been released? No. The chiefs, the funds, have they been released up to today? No. Why is it different for the ADF?
I completely agree with you. I am on the same boat with you. I'm in the same boat with you when it comes to how we are handling these prisoners of war, these terrorists. I would call them terrorists because they've aided and abetted crimes in Ambazonia. So when we pick up this kind of people, by the way, behind this lady, you see Ambazonia flag and the ADF. If ADF was a La Republic, you should be seeing La Republic flags. That was another side.
Say it is cheap to hang a flag, right?
Well, it's cheap to hang a flag, but it's an honor to have a flag.
That's what we call make-believe.
Correct, but it's an honor to have a flag. We've seen people honoring the flag. So too is the ADF honoring its flag. Let's not go along party lines here because we have one ludicrous.
It's not about party line. Hold on. Let me go back to Barrister Martin. I thought Samuel Thomas was reconnected. He is not yet. I'm waiting for him. Barrister Martin, I asked the question, how does the ADF redeem its image? This was such an opportunity for it to do so. How do you think they redeem their image?
Ivo said that they should pick more people and then handle them properly so that they wouldn't forget whatever mistakes they did in this one. But what is to be honest, Chris, ADF was in its back was getting on the wall. They had this woman with them, so they had tried the woman, or so they claim, and sentenced her to death. It was either you execute that judgment, or you come forever, or you free the woman, or something, or you take the money. From all indication, it seems as if they took money. Success Nkongo, who happens to be very connected with the Secret Service in Cameroon, has confirmed that the family of the woman paid 48 million, while Cameroon military contributed or brought 35 million.
Success.
I'm
I
quoting
think
success.
You
I'm
cannot be
quoting
citing
success
success,
in
success.
Congo.
Congo is not a good source to quote
It's
on
not a
it
good source.
anywhere.
No, I'm just quoting him because he is, but he is, for bad news come their side, he is very good source because he's one of them. Anything against
No, no, no,
us,
no. He's
he
a
comes with
propagandist.
it.
He's a, let me
Anyway,
be,
that is
let
his
me come
source,
on.
but
Let me.
it doesn't really matter.
Ivo, hold on. Let Barrister
I'm
Martin
just
finish his
quoting
thought.
him as a source. I'm not saying he is the authoritative source. He is saying the figures. That's why I'm just quoting. But the issue is, I don't think SDADF is interested in convincing Amazonians that they didn't take money. My position is that ADF took money. ADF doesn't want the international community to consider them as people who arrest or kidnap people and take money. So they rather they say that the woman was rescued. La Republic does not want its citizens to see them as stooping low as paying ADF the money. So they would rather to project that they rescued the woman. So we have two willing parties: a payer who does not want to say I paid, and a receiver who does not want to say I received. So both of them are there. So that is the situation we had. And ADF is protecting itself against the international community. They don't want to be seen as kidnappers. So they arrange all these things. I'm even sure what the army is reading is a script that both ADF and the army agreed on the version they will put. So I don't see it's a problem. ADF is not interested in convincing me and you for what? Do they care?
Comrade
Their
Martin,
problem is
let me just chime in.
Comrade
not to see
Martin,
them as kidnappers.
Comrade Martin,
Yes.
if you make that point, what then do you make for the case of the Indian 6? I mean,
No, the Indian 6 guy is not, the Indian 6 guy is not looking for money.
Hold on a second. This is the point. The ADF had only one important detainee in their keeping. In India, you had 6 they call them provincial delegates. 6 of them. They are still keeping them, but the ADF has rushed and offered the order. I mean, if you are justifying their effort, how do you then put that side by side with Indian's case?
I can put it side by side. Is if you ask for money, maybe for the Indian people you will not raise 5 million. For Mundi, you raise 80-something million. As the figure was going higher and higher, it was getting tempting. It reached a point when you have to do cost-benefit analysis. What do we gain in really killing this? What do we gain in keeping her compared to what we could do with this money? They must have had their caucus meetings and the rest and realize, yes, they will damage if we take the money, but the benefit for taking that money outweighs the damage. Damage might be the talk for 1 week, 2 weeks, but we can get that money for months and months.
Can I just
let Ivo jump in there.
Let me weigh in a little bit because there's so much being spoken about money. Let's put the facts clear. I, Tapang Ivo Tanku, I do support the fact that you should, and every Ambazonian in Ambazonia should arrest for money considered as bail or bonds for those terrorists who have been kidnapped, or those terrorists who have been arrested. The word kidnap is completely out of our dictionary because we've declared our country. Sisiku Ayok Tabe declared it a country, our independence. Gojidinka had declared it. The Ayabas have declared it. All those top leaders had all declared it, and the people of Ambazonia had declared it. So why don't we have the right to ask for money as bonds, as bail, when terrorists are seeking for pardon? Does it make any difference? Cameroon will not release. Let me finish. Cameroon will not release any prisoner in their keeping if you don't pay the bond or the bail. Why is the territory of Ambazonia different in every shape and form?
You are
and yet
very
they're claiming
correct.
that you have a president called Marianata or whatever she calls herself.
No, listen. You got to display some dignity here, the way you address people. Marianta is the president of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia's interim
No. She's not a president of any Federal Republic. No, not the country I represent.
She deserves.
Not the country I represent. There is no president in Ambazonia.
All right. If you do not want to demonstrate some dignity, even if she is not, you still need to. She still deserves that respect as a frontline leader.
Yes, she's an Ambazonian, but not the president. Who voted her?
That is not a subject for debate here, please.
Where is her presidency?
Sorry?
Where is her presidency?
Her presidency is in Boya. But we don't need to debate her here. You don't come here to ask a question. I ask the question because I pay for the microphone. So let's move on. Listen, we are agreed on the money aspect of it. I see no problem wrong with that. That is why I come here all the time and I say, hey, yes, when the CDC people came, I agreed to the money. It is not lot of public's money. It is our parents' money, our taxpayers' money, and no matter the amount, we will take it. The problem is when...
Good say, Mr. Chris.
The problem is when you pick up somebody and go out and say, we will keep her until we get somebody in exchange. That did not happen. Now the second problem, they come out and say, there was a serious battle. I tell you, listen to Yaba in an audio this morning. He said, I sat and I listened to the serious battle that was going on. It's been 2 days or 3 days today. No testimony from anywhere in Batabo. All I shown to say, we heard shootings, we heard, we saw corpses, we saw a mass grave, we saw nothing. But they keep on going out telling the people there was some serious fighting in which we lost 80 million. Come on, that is a problem.
Mr. Chris, let me just weigh in a little bit. 80 million is even too small. Left to me, if I'm the head of the ADF, let's not even keep calling Ayaba because Ayaba is nowhere closer to the ADF. It's Benedict Kwa. So we are kind of running him down on an organization he doesn't belong to.
Who do you say is running the ADF, Benedict who?
I am speaking because I was the deputy chairman of the ADF for the Atlantic. And so I know the inner circles of the ADF. So
are you saying we are blaming the wrong person?
I want to just make clarity here. Yeah, let me just have some clarity. Ayaba does not sit even in the war council when decisions are being made. But his name is so easy to be called when it comes to things like this. The person we should be calling is Benedict Kwa and not even Ayaba. Ayaba is only a policy maker for the AGOV-C. That is nowhere closer. These are all distinct bodies. I speak as someone who was the deputy chair of the ADF. This man is completely innocent. Let's call and let's put the image of Benedict Kwa, who is the one who gives the orders and who is the one who has to speak, or his spokesperson. So I want to just highlight something. 80 million, Uncle Chris, or still call you Uncle Chris. In private life, I call you Uncle Chris. 80 million is even too small because Cameroon generates about 2 billion CFA daily from its proceeds in Ambazonia. Unbelievable. That means every day Cameroon, by economic standards, according to the IMF, World Bank, and other financial reports, including the CAFO Policy Institute, Cameroon generates 2 billion francs CFA from the people of Ambazonia till today. So 80 million is only a paltry sum. I cannot hear you.
Can you? How you can hear me?
How can they generate 2 million a day when the GDP of Cameroon is
2 billion,
less than 50 billion?
Not million.
How can they, I'm saying, how can they generate 2 billion a day when the GDP of Cameroon is less than 50 billion?
You know, Cameroon is ranked among the most corrupt countries in the world. Cameroon topped the rank in 1999 and 2001 as the most corrupt country according to Transparency International.
Yeah, but I agree with you, but GDP has nothing to do with corruption. Cameroon cannot generate 2 billion a day in Ambazonia with an annual GDP of less than...
Look at the real growth GDP. The real growth GDP of Cameroon has sunk. Right now we're talking about 2.7%. In 2016, it was 5.7%. But right now, the GDP, the real growth GDP, according to the World Bank, is dancing in the 2%. That is horrible for a country.
I agree with you. I'm saying that Cameroon cannot generate 2 billion per day in Ambazonia. Even the whole of Cameroon does not generate 2 billion a day. Unless you are talking 2 billion CFA. I'm talking about $2 billion.
Where is the oil?
Sorry.
Where is
are
the
we
oil
talking
found?
CFA?
Cameroon's biggest.
How much oil? We are producing maybe 65,000 barrels per day. Ivor, we are producing around 65 to 70,000 barrels per day. How much is that? One small well in Nigeria produces 200,000 barrels. Let's be fair now. No, I mean, we are condemning La Republic, but
that is only
all that our audience will
What about all the CDC? We have a couple of plantations. We have that's it, man. That's
all right. All right.
I mean,
not 2 billion CFA per day.
Maybe
not $2 billion per day.
Talk about this relevant issue.
All right.
Okay, listen, no problem. Another day.
Yes. Listen. Ivor, again, we have no problems with how much the ADF collected. I don't care if they collected 1 billion. I don't care if they collected 1 billion and that 1 billion is deployed back into the struggle. The problem is, even if the ADF collects 10 billion, there are no battle fees of theirs that we have seen over the past 5 years and counting. I mean, if you can prove me wrong, I'll be ready to listen. But that is a problem. We will all take that money, reinvest it into the struggle. But they are not doing so, which is why Ambazonians are very mad. Very, very mad. None of us, I don't think anybody here was saying kill Regina Mundi, apart from maybe Sama Thomas, who was all right about it. And maybe except you, Tasangur, one her go. But none of us here was saying kill her. But if they couldn't take the 10 billion and reinvest, buy true arms, put in the arms of people who are fighting, actually fighting, that would be a big difference. But unfortunately, that money has just been shared. I believe is in all different accounts right now, isn't it?
They don't have accounts, by the way. Those on ground zero, if they collect that money, they would be going to Nigeria
Bitcoin,
to buy
bonds. Ivor, you are a smart person. You know Bitcoins. You don't need to have an account. You just need to have La Republic.
Those on ground zero, I don't think they even have cell phones to be running on Bitcoins.
What is that?
Those on ground zero, they don't have any accounts. I don't think it will be ludicrous for any fighter on ground zero to have accounts. If they collect that money, they should be going to Nigeria to buy more guns.
Well, let's wait to see they buy more guns and let's see actually what they do with more guns. Now, let's move to one more point before I open the phone lines for a few phone calls before you go, since you have some time here. Right now, the ADF and of course, you said you are no longer to set the record straight. You say you are no longer an executive in the ADF. But tell us, for 5 years, the ADF cannot prove to Ambazonians where they have been fighting. The ADF has killed our own fighters. Batibel is there, and many other places that you know, Guzang and so on. There is a problem. We have been looking forward, and Iya Marianta, for example, she has a policy in this government of stretching her hands to every other leader. But the Ambazonian people out there say, stretch your hands to everybody but Cho Ayaba. And we thought we had an opportunity in the arrest of this lady to give him a chance. It hasn't happened. If you were in the position of Iya Marianta, the leader of the interim government, how do you stretch your hands to fellowship with somebody who cannot prove he is fighting La Republique du Cameroon?
I think that's a very good question. I will start off by I do respect all the creation of all the NGOs, including the interim government NGO. I do respect that creation and its leadership, including Marietta of the NGO called the interim government. Likewise, I also do respect the leadership of Dr. Ayabacho and his decades of experience, which Marietta is nowhere closer. I don't think Marietta has a resume for even 2 months of liberation. It makes her completely a scum in this revolution, if you want to put it that way. If she wants to stretch her hand, let me just go on.
No, hold on there. I will give you the chance to respond. Listen, when I invite you to the show, I expect you to come here and behave yourself with some as a man who has some dignity. You can differ with her, but you have no reason to call her a scam. You have none. And please, respect yourself. Show yourself in the eyes of the people here. There are over 1,100 people watching this show on Facebook alone. Come across as a person with dignity. You cannot prove that she has scammed anyone. So please avoid that. Thank you. Go on.
I can go on with proofs, but that will be another debate for another day. I can go on with proofs, but that will be another debate for another day. I do accept the collaboration of all people or all leaders in Ambazonia. We started off with the consortium, and it was kind of an inclusive body for everyone before we digress into the politics that has now divided the revolution, including Mr. Chris Ano deferring and calling others a scam, like Dr. Cho Ayaba Lucas, which I do disagree. So you should be able to accept others calling your own so-called president a scam.
We have, when we call people scammers, myself in particular, I mean it. When somebody
I also mean it.
Okay, hold on. And when I say I mean it, I can prove it with facts. When somebody says, Ngala for Ngala or debt penalty, and goes ahead to collect money, what do you call that? Is that not a scam? That is exactly what we're talking about. When somebody says he's fighting La République du Cameroun, when somebody says he is fighting La République du Cameroun, when somebody says he's fighting La République du Cameroun and he's running around in trucks as a restoration army or a revolution army, who else is running around in trucks? When you kill your own fighters and not a single fighter from La République du Cameroun, who are you fooling? That is what we mean by scamming. All right, go on.
Now, Mr. Chris, when people throw allegations, oh, this one killed this fighter, ADF killed in Batibo, this one killed in this, I mean, over time, the truth has exposed itself. We've seen forces, including those of General Ayeke, of blessed memory. We've seen forces, including those of the British Southern Cameroon's Restoration Forces under General Arike. We've seen forces, including those of General No Pity, all confessing to the fact that he or they have a death penalty on their heads at the time when Secretary Chris Ano was at the helm of the IG under Sako Ikome. I mean, these are all proven facts from those on the ground. And these soldiers are still alive today, with the exception of General.
Can you take that again? That Chris Ano put a death warrant on their heads?
Of course. We've seen all of those images. We've seen them testify from the ground, not the propaganda we sit here making. Those from the ground have
Chris
put on
Ano the
videos.
defense secretary of the
General No
government,
Pity. General No Pity has stated that on video, that we wanted to kill him.
It will surprise
this other guy, Arike.
It will surprise you, Tapan Ivo, and that is the problem, that you come on TV, you don't have your fact. It will surprise you. I speak with no pity almost on a daily basis, and it will surprise you even before coming live. I was with him. I can show you the communication if you want to. So please, when we come on this television, so we're not come here to run some propaganda. We're coming here to try to give Ambazonian facts. That is why I have been here for so long.
Let's not even go there. Let's not even talk about those. Let's not talk about things that will divide
because I try as much as possible to bring them facts. All right, please, let's get to Barrister Martin. Barrister Martin, please take us back to how this makes communication, collaboration, difficult among the leaders of this movement, the liberation movement?
Yeah, Chris, communication and cooperation, or whatever we call it, it is built on trust. There's so much distrust between the parties, and a lot of people say things that they don't stand. Somebody will tell you A, when you check tomorrow, it is B. So it's very difficult, but it doesn't mean we should abandon ship. We should always try to keep some courage, to try to still stretch that hand. That hand should keep being stretched, not withdrawn. Because even if we are not close, at least we should have a working relationship sometimes. We might need it. What they are doing there as we unity warriors, it might not be perfect, but it is like a starting point. I don't think it's perfect, but it is a first step towards the right direction. That's what I think. It has its problems though, but yes, at least something is being done on the practical level on the ground. They should look at it, let them be some kind of understanding on the ground, then the politicians might piggyback on it.
Okay. Barrister Martin, you look at this image of Cardinal Toomey right there on the screen. That was Cardinal Toomey in captivity. He was released along with the fund of Insult, whom you also find there in the screen. They did not pay a dime for a ransom. And of course, no prisoner exchange was carried out. But at least they got their freedom, they went out, they were freed. Now, compare this case to that of Regina Mundi, whom all of us know to be a kingpin in the CPDM regime. She is not freed. Money is taken from her, and the problem also there is, at the end of the day, we do not see that money buying arms to fight the République du Cameroon. Can you compare these two situations and let's see what difference they are?
No, these other people, we don't have a record of them arresting people, if we don't want to call kidnap, and asking for money. But ADF, we have that record. The Kamwata guy was arrested. They were asking for money, that you pay 10 million before we release you. I think they've been after the Tassang families for them to pay some money. They've been arresting some people, call it liberation tax or whatever. So different groups have different modus operandi. ADF has this policy of liberation tax. They arrest you, you pay it. Which somebody might say is ransom, somebody might say it's a fine, call it whatever you may. But that is the situation. How they use the money after that, I don't know. It's an internal party or internal group thing. Whether they share it or they buy arms.
Sorry, maybe Ivor will help us. Will help tell us how they use the money. He has been there.
That's so funny. Well, I would say no. I mean, when you talk about using the money, is that what you're talking about? My senior comrade, Barrister Thomason. Hello.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
No, he's asking me how they use the money. I said, I cannot tell how they use the money. They've been showing some arms. They've been showing some arms. Therefore, they use the money to buy the arms. So some people say those arms are given by La République. I cannot comment on those things. I have no facts on them. But I've seen some arms in there.
I've been an insider. I wanted him to tell us how they use the money. I actually saw Capo Daniel in the restaurant celebrating and telling us how here is the money. Here is the money he's using.
For all the organizations I've been part of, I would say from the consortium, right up to Consortium Without Guns anyway, right up to now, the ADF until recently, the most transparent organization I've seen using its money is the ADF. Not propaganda, but a fact. And I'll state this clearly. I've raised hundreds of thousands of dollars for the ADF. And believe me, it is even more expensive to buy guns than to raise money for the guns. ADF is the most equipped force on the ground. the most
Listen,
equipped to
we're
the
not
teeth.
even going to go into that because
Yes.
there will be no end into it. So forget about the largest or well equipped or whatever. I think Amazonians want to see where they are fighting, not what they have.
If where they're fighting, you see General No PT is now collaborating with the ADF. That is where they're fighting.
That is propaganda.
Where they
I
are
can
fighting,
tell you,
ADF just arrested
that is not
Regina
the
Mundi.
case. That is propaganda. But I'm joined by Prince J.K. coming in the place of Sama Thomas. Prince J.K., I believe you have